Excited to see you guys. We're having another go here, and hopefully this runs smoothly. We had some tech problems. So super excited. Sarah Dible is with us today. She's a graduate of the Functional Medicine Fast Track program, and I'm just love being around Sarah. She's got an awesome energy, and I want you to hear her story. So Sarah's got 20 years of physical therapy behind her. She is a real pioneer as far as bringing in alternative techniques, which she's going to explain. She has a master's in physical therapy. She owns her own practice now. She has craniosacral behind her, NAT, which she's going to explain more. And yeah, just super excited to hear more from you, Sarah. So maybe you want to start off and just give us a big welcome. Hi.
And hi, everybody.
And let us know exactly the bit of the juice from your background.
All right, so I have 20 years of orthopedic physical therapy practice experience. I worked for over 10 years in a large orthopedic practice, working with orthosurgeons here in Vancouver, Washington, where I sometimes came across patients that were trying really hard to get better, following sometimes a better diet than I did, and they would sometimes get stuck not healing, and you just have this instinctual feeling that there's got to be more that you can offer them to kind of kickstart their healing again, or customize healing to their specific needs. I was never comfortable really saying, well, they must not be trying, or they must not be doing what we're asking them to, because they'd come in and they'd tell you what they're doing and what they're trying, and it's just stalled. I also ran into my own health problems along the way. When I'd exercise, sometimes I'd have to take a 3 or 4 hour nap afterwards, and that's just not normal. It's not how we learned that the body heals. It's not how we learn that the body responds to exercise. So it started making me take note of when clients would tell me that their body didn't respond correctly, and made me start questioning, what are we missing here? My health also took a bit of a decline. I ended up with massive amounts of infection, ending up on antibiotics for 3 years every single day, or else I could not function. And I ended up with asthma and a bunch of allergies on top of it, most likely from the antibiotic use. So I was desperate to find some solutions for my own health. And so I started seeking naturopathic care, alternative medicine, and along the way I found something called NAT, and by the time I'd done 10 sessions with them, it wasn't like the clouds parted and the birds chirped and my life was perfect, but I had such significant changes that I decided to get trained in something that was definitely outside of my comfort zone, but has really led me down a path of providing better care for my patients. Because once I was trained in that, a family practice clinic found out that I was trained in that alternative medicine, and they invited me to come into their practice and rent space and provide physical therapy and NAT for their clients. So I've always been on a journey to help myself have better health and restore my health. I no longer have asthma. My allergies are minimal, and yet I'm still trying to repair some of my body injuries from the antibiotic use, and maintain my activity level and help my body respond to things correctly. And so that journey has continued to take me into my own practice and into seeking more information and things like functional medicine. So when it came across my radar, my curiosity was definitely there, and I was actively seeking for something to kind of bridge the gap between my alternative medicine side of my practice and my orthopedics. So it was a perfect blend there, brought the two together and helps me blend them more.
It's amazing. So it's amazing just listening to your journey, how your own health challenges and then picking up from patients that they just weren't resolving has moved you to looking towards alternative solutions.
Yeah.
And I mean, isn't that in all of our hearts as health professionals, that we just want to serve our patients at the highest level?
Yep.
And how was your kind of emotional feeling during those periods when you didn't have the answer and you were searching? What drove you emotionally to look for those alternative solutions?
So I would say when I was just practicing orthopedics in that big clinic, I was done with physical therapy. I loved my clients, but I was just burnt out. I knew there had to be more, but the training that they were offering us and the traditional orthopedic continuing ed was not answering my questions. And once again, was telling me to push my patients harder, and did not give me solutions. So I was burnt out, frustrated, exhausted, and decided to have kids. Probably. So alternative medicine, just blending the two, has actually kept me in physical therapy and has given me a new lease on my practice and my profession, which I love dearly. My burnout was not because I didn't love it. It's just everything I was trying for my clients and myself was just falling short. And so the alternative medicine has definitely given me a new lease on being able to offer better solutions for people. Yeah, that's what it just kind of a renewed excitement.
So you had done all the continued education courses in our traditional skill set.
Yeah.
And then you was like, oh, maybe I need to leave the profession. Maybe this just isn't right for me. Is that kind of where you were at?
Yes, I could not. I literally could not bring myself to sign up for another manual therapy class and just leave banging my head because I still didn't have answers for the group of clients who are trying and just not gaining. So that's where I was at.
So you've gone along the path of bringing all those other alternative medicines into your practice. You got better results for your patients to a point.
To a point.
And then was there still an element of things are just not kind of working?
Well, it still is looking at things very focused on a very specific sign or symptom, instead of like taking a step back and looking at the whole body and looking at a systemized approach and getting to the root cause, kind of going not just a little upstream, but way upstream. Like, where did this start? How do we go about correcting it way back then? How do we take keep a little focus on what's currently going on, but back up? It's kind of like, yeah, just back up, get a much broader view and serve the client on a much larger scale, because you can show them that the reason their total knee replacement isn't healing isn't because of the total knee replacement. It's way back before that. It's probably steeped in the root cause of why they got the arthritis in the first place that drove them to needing a total knee replacement. So just being able to look back upstream and kind of see the whole picture was what I was looking for to kind of blend the two.
Got it. So you're looking for that. You'd gone through that journey, and then functional medicine came across your path. So was that just an aha moment? This is definitely the thing to bring in that would do it? Or did you have to investigate more and look at more of what functional medicine was? How did you go about the initial kind of learning what functional medicine was about?
I read a bit about it once it came across my radar. It came across my radar because I saw some of your stuff on Facebook. And I watched your webinar, and I was like, this is what I need to do. And then I chatted with you briefly, and then I had to figure out how to come up with the ability of time-wise and whatnot to start the course. But I literally sat down with my husband. It was probably 2 months before I started, and I said, I'm going to need to do this, and I'm going to need to carve the time out to do this. And he's much more analytical about stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to sound rude. I don't care what you say. I've got to do this. I was compelled, and I've been led in my practice by that type of an experience. My health compelled me to take and step outside my comfort zone and do alternative medicine in the first place, because no matter what I tried conventional, it was harming me more or making me sleep for hours on end, things of that nature. And so I've learned to honor the fact that when I'm driven and instinctually know I have to do something, I do. And this was one of those aha moments. I was like, I have to do this. And it has not disappointed. It has been amazing.
And what is it from an emotional point of view? Like, has that just taken the relief off of, okay, now I can help my patients to that next level? Has that moved that shift of I want to leave physical therapy to now it's something that is, okay, I can actually help and I want to stay in the profession?
Yes. I had already started to want to stay in the profession for the past, once I got back into, or started blending alternative medicine, but there was still those core people that even with that, they're trying hard and they get stuck at times. And there's this thing, I've got to know more. I need to look at the whole system more, not just whatever they came in to see me for. And so this has just given me an ability to know that when clients are committed and they want to do it, that we can find very specific answers. We don't have to continue guessing on how their body specifically heals and does its best work. We can actually order labs. We can interpret labs. We can give them very specific education and details about how their body goes about its best healing work.
Got it, got it. So can you give us a little bit of an example of some patients or yourself of functional medicine, bringing that into what you had tried previously and then what has happened now as far as outcomes go?
I have, so outcomes, I'll give you one example. I have a lady that came in to see me about 8 months ago, and she has massive amounts of rash and wounds on her feet, just seeping, oozing, absolutely horrific. And we started with doing NAET to desensitize her to some things that were going on. And she'd had it for 2 years. She'd seen conventional doctors for years. They had given her courses of all kinds of medications with zero results. So she comes in to see me. We start treating her. She starts making visible progress, but very slow, super slow. So when I started the functional medicine, we learned tongue reading. So one of the first visits I saw her after the functional medicine, I just said, let me see your tongue. And I looked at it, and it was obvious that she was not able to digest proteins based on her tongue. And I just learned about adding in support for that. And so I immediately got her some support to help digest proteins. And she came in the next time and literally healed over.
Wow.
Like sealed over, healed over for the first time. Then she had a sugar binge. And she said literally the night after she ate a bunch of sugar, she had candy or Skittles or something like that, she had mild wounds that opened back up, but she was able to correlate. And so it gave us both very specific information. So that wasn't even a lab example of using lab work, but just the ability to read the body and what it's telling us in information. And literally within 3 days of getting some support for protein on board, her body's healing these feet that have been stuck non-healing for 3 years or 2 years, something like that.
Wow.
And so it gives her information, and then we have specifics, you know. Aha moment. She came in and said, now I know. So she's got deep, I didn't even have to, once she started it, I didn't even have to point out the obvious. She came in, she had connected the dots, and she just offers it up.
Wow, that's incredible. Let's maybe expand on that. Like, what changes have you seen in your practice?
I see that clients, so even during the course, I see that clients are excited about this, that I'm offering this. They're curious. I've never taken another certification or like training in a new modality. Like I've taken neuro-emotional technique, and I come back and a couple patients are like, yeah, you can try it out on me type thing. This, they're actively asking information. They're excited. I hardly can get enough information out before they're like, this sounds like it's right for me. They all recognize the energy of what we're presenting, I think, and the fact that it blends both the conventional medicine with the alternative, which they've obviously sought me out for, and can give them more solutions long-term on how to heal and live their best life.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So, and that is in a short space of time?
Yeah. I would say even like week 1 of the course, when I really didn't know what I was doing, but I was really excited, and I'd come in and I'd just say, you know, I'd start looking at tongues, or I'd look at people's nails, or, you know, whatever. And they'd be like, well, why are you looking at that? And I'd tell them, and they're like, well, you need to keep me updated on what you're learning, and I want to know more, and let me know when you're ready to take on functional medicine clients. So a lot of excitement, a lot of positive energy, much more so than I've ever experienced with other training and modalities. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And I mean, we know that functional medicine is not another weekend course or a couple of webinars. And a lot of the time people say, oh, that just sounds too hard to learn. It's just beyond. How has been your experience going through 12 weeks of mentoring and training? And how competent do you feel? How comfortable are you feeling? I know functional medicine is an ever learning situation with there's always new stuff coming up. But how have you felt that learning experience and gaining that knowledge?
You know, where there's a will, there's a way. I don't care if you don't think you have enough time. You will find enough time to get through this. It will give you really good frameworks with which to assess people, to get a much more global view of why they have a cascade of problems, from thyroid to chronic infections to interstitial cystitis to non-healing wounds. I mean, you name it. You have this framework to step back and look at that. And you can get through it. 99% determination, and you get through it. It's work. It is. But I have to say, I was excited to do it. There were a couple lectures that I was like, this is not my market. So, but most lectures, I couldn't wait to get through them once, twice, sometimes 3 times, just to kind of get the details, because there's all these clients in the past that come flying through your head, and you're like, that's what was going on, or, you know, just all these aha moments. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I had to do it. So, and I think anyone can do it. You can carve out the time, and you're always going to get from it what you were meant to get from it. So all of us come out with the same training, and yet we're all going to see things with a slightly different tint because of what we bring to the table. And I think that's where you look at the art of medicine, and you just know that, and you have to have the confidence to know that you're going to practice your own way. You don't have to practice how Garric practices or someone else. And you don't have to remember everything that everyone else does. But you'll forget a ton. I need to go back and review, but you'll forget a ton, and it'll come back around into your radar. And I think that anyone can do it. If you're a PT, you can do this.
And just so kind of clarification is, you brought functional medicine in alongside your traditional skill set and what you've learned in the past. You're complementing it. Is that correct?
Yes. So I still run my orthopedic practice. So people come in for what they come in for. People come in and see me for the alternative medicine. And then when I'm assessing them, I can also offer this. And it's a more comprehensive, and it's a separate kind of package deal for them that they would go through. So it's not like all my clients are now functional medicine, but along the way, as I see people that are in need, I have it. But you can't take your skills out of the room. So really, all of my clients are getting more value just from the knowledge that I bring to the everyday sessions. So
you're bringing that together. So yeah, having it separate, you're not going to get as greater outcomes with those scope of patients that you're seeing,
yeah,
rather than combining the two together and complementing. And that's the exciting part.
Yes.
And you have a specific niche of patients that you see. I love that, how you kind of giving everybody that they can customize it to who they see and their skill sets. And that is just so important because it takes everybody's so different in the world.
Yeah. So I already practice mind-body medicine. So I obviously attract clients that are seeking some mind-body medicine complemented with orthopedics or things of that nature. But my niche, as I've gone through the course and kind of explored what I feel compelled to work with, and it is individuals who have a history of antibiotic use because of the trauma and the debris that antibiotics leave in its wake. And so that's kind of where I feel compelled to serve and help right now, is people who, like myself, had to or chose to take antibiotics for some unfortunate experience that they were going through, and since then have had a cascade of issues. And so that's my specific niche at this point.
Yeah, that's exciting. And it's amazing how many patients we see in a traditional setting, and we don't ask those questions. We don't go through that timeline. And that's something new that functional medicine has brought to the table,
yeah.
is understanding those connections. So
I had my last antibiotic dose was over 10 years ago. And yet during the functional medicine, I was able to pinpoint very specific problems within my gut that were still not completely restored from something I hadn't taken in over 10 years.
Wow.
So people don't realize this does not have to be active antibiotic use. This can be something you took 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And if no one has looked at how to restore your gut and your microbiome, then it is still causing joint issues and headaches and asthma and allergies and things of that nature that is just stopping the body from healing.
Incredible. And you were already eating a great diet. You were exercising. You were doing relaxation techniques. But some event from 10 years ago plus had already created a dysfunction. And you had to go deeper to find those underlying root causes to know what to do next.
Correct. You know, I was exercising, but I was struggling still to exercise. I was very limited to about 20 minutes of cardio, or else my joints would still hurt. But that was already doing better than what I'd come from, where I couldn't even run a mile without taking a 3-hour nap from exhaustion and hardly being able to walk afterwards. So it's been a long journey, but it's been well worth taking, and I wouldn't give it back. So, because it's brought me to all kinds of cool things, but at the same time, for people to know that there's still answers for them when they've been struggling with something for 15, 20 years is just really promising and nice to be able to offer solutions in that department.
Well, that's awesome to hear. I mean, you're changing lives, you're changing your own life, and you're taking your life's experience into helping patients in the future. I mean, that's incredibly bold.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, what are your aspirations now moving forward? Where do you see your practice going? What is the kind of new light for you?
So I already work with clients from a distance often. I work with people locally, and I love that because I love person-to-person communication. But I've been working with distance clients for probably 3-4 years, and I'd like to take my practice further. I already have people who have sought me out for functional medicine that are not local. And so I meet with them and work with them from a distance, order labs from a distance, analyze things from a distance, set up plans for them. And I grew up internationally all over the world, and I'd like a little more freedom to maybe spend half the year in one place and half the year somewhere else, and be able to practice medicine the whole time from a distance and help change people's lives. So that's my goal.
So you seeing now the path towards changing your life to live the life that you want, but still staying in the health profession and helping people, because that's what you love to do as well.
That's correct. Yeah.
Amazing. And you're already doing that. It's now just building on that. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. Just got to build it up, enjoy myself, have fun along the way, eat well, exercise, sleep well.
So what would you say to anybody kind of on the fence, aspiring to integrate functional medicine with their traditional skill set, and they haven't quite decided? what would you say to just inspire them?
I just think that if you're anywhere near the fence, you need to just go for it. Like, just go for it. I wouldn't give my journey back, but I wish I'd had functional medicine 10 years ago when I started my journey into alternative medicine and trying to blend my orthopedics and my skill set there with the alternative medicine. I wish I'd had just a more comprehensive approach of assessing the body, because it's awesome. So if I had to rewrite things, even though I won't give it back, because everything happens in the right time, I would have done functional medicine and then maybe added some of the alternative medicine that I already do.
Got it. Love it. Love it.
So if they're anywhere near the fence, climb over that fence, jump over the fence, beg borrow steal to do that. Take the course.
Absolutely. We need more people in functional medicine. That's the bottom line. The public are crying for it and they're desperate. So if that is something that you are close to the fence with, what we do is we suggest that you go to our website, www.functionalmedicinefasttrack.com, or the shortened version, www.fm-ft.com, and you'll get more information there on helping you cross that fence and getting started, because we certainly need more functional medicine practitioners integrating it into all types of health professions, and not only help your own health, but help many, many patients that are just stuck. So Sarah, we want to thank you. I think that is just amazing to hear your journey, and it's so inspiring to all of us. And we just know that you're going to be helping so many great patients in the future, which is really, I mean, that's what we're in the health profession for. So thank you again for your time.
Yes.
And just, love crossing paths with you, and looking forward to many more.
Thank you.